king of Nigeria needs my help to help. $50 million? Huh! This has to be legit. Now, obviously scams aren't funny, unless they don't happen to you, and then they could be funny. But as crazy as it sounds, the Nigerian prince scam has still been taking advantage of people since the 1990s, and it's still happening today to the tune of over $1.5 million to $2 million per year. And in the real estate space, there are scams that are crazy like the Nigerian prince scam, and there's ones that seem so real that a new real estate investor could very easily fall for them. So in this video, I want to go over the top 5 real estate scams that are out there to make sure that you're just aware of them. I know when I was brand new, if I wouldn't have had this conversation with somebody, or if somebody didn't, kind of alert me that these things were going on, I probably could have fallen for them myself. So once you get in the know, then you're gonna know, and you're not gonna fall victim for these things. These are in no particular order, and all of them are, dangerous.
Danger's my middle name.
Let's go into the first one. So scam number 1 is the classified site scam. And we see this a lot on sites like Craigslist. It's happening on Zillow right now, where you see a listing and it's being offered at such a ridiculously, outrageously good price that you think it's just your lucky day. And maybe the listing has only been on the market for 1 day. So you hurry up and you call and you get a hold of the owner, and the owner sounds super motivated to sell. So you're getting excited and you're like, hey, let's meet, or hey, can I make you an offer? And you either do it over the phone or you go out and meet them, and they say that they will take your offer. And the only caveat is there's a lot of other people looking at this deal. So when you fill out the paperwork, they want you to put up an earnest deposit, and that earnest deposit they want in cash, and they want you to pay them the earnest deposit because the deal is so hot and there's all these other people competing for it that if you want it, you got to lock in your contract right here, right now. And boom, you got scammed. And the way this scam works is pretty much the scammer found a listing, maybe from a lazy real estate agent. It was a vacant property, and they called the real estate agent, and the real estate agent gave them the lockbox code because it wasn't on a MLS lockbox, it was on a contractor's lockbox. Or they found a wholesaler that had a property on a lockbox, and all they did is basically pretend like the property was theirs. They lowered the price. They created their own marketing materials. They posted it on Craigslist or Zillow or some classified site. You happen to be the unlucky victim that showed up and called, and then, next thing you know, you're getting scammed out of your earnest deposit. So how do you protect yourself? First and foremost, you never pay cash directly to anybody. Always use a check, and always give that check to your closing agent or a third-party agency that actually is going to help you with the transaction. That way, you never get caught giving somebody cash that ends up being a scammer. The second thing is, and kind of my golden rule to almost all of these scams, is trust but verify. All right, what I mean by that is verify that the person you're working with and that you're talking to is the actual decision maker on the property. So check the tax records to make sure that their name is on there. And then if you're working with them in person, that you ask for their ID and you actually see that the person you're working with is the owner of record. So even though they're telling me they're the owner of record, I want to make sure by verifying. All right, so that's the classified site scam. Unfortunately, this takes advantage of a lot of new real estate investors that get so excited. They want a deal so badly. They're so excited that they found this hidden gem online, and it's at this smoking price, and the seller's motivated, and everything just seems to be lining up and falling into place. Sometimes when things are too good to be true, they actually are. All right, so trust but verify. All right, scam number 2 is the escrow wire fraud scam. And the way this works is you're gonna get an email or a phone call or a text message from somebody purporting to be from the title or escrow company, with instructions on where to wire your escrow funds. All right, so if you're going to buy a property, they're going to be pretending to be your closing agent, giving you wiring instructions so you can send your money in to them versus your real title company or your real closing agent so they can scam you out of the money. Now, it's a pretty sophisticated setup. They actually set up fake websites that appear to be similar to the title company or the lending company that you're working with. And it makes it all seem like it's the real deal. And the scammers, they use spoof tactics to make fake phone numbers and fake email addresses that appear super real, but they're off by one number or one letter. And it's just an easy thing to miss at first glance. And if you follow the wiring instructions, then guess what? Boom. You just got scammed, all right? And you're the latest victim of the escrow wire fraud scam. And the scammers, they've withdrawn your funds from an offshore account somewhere. Now they're sailing off into the sunset with your hard-earned money. So you have very few options, if any, for actually retrieving your money. And just think about how easy it would be to fall for this, especially if you're new and you're excited and you're bragging on social media about the rental property or the rehab you're about to purchase, or you mention what title company or escrow company you're using because you're live on social and you don't even think about those little details, and the scammers, they're watching. Next thing you know, you're being taken advantage of. So how do you protect yourself? This is how. Before you ever send money to a third party, go back to the original documents that you received from your lender or from your closing agent and actually call the phone numbers listed there to verify the wiring instructions that you received. Never click on a random email or on text links or send money online without verifying the wiring instructions with a live person on the phone from the number that you received, you called, and you verified. All right? Remember, trust but verify. Be wary of any emails or texts requesting a change to wiring instructions that you've already received in the past, and always, always, always confirm the escrow account number before wiring any money. All right, so trust but verify. All right, scam number 3. This one is called the seller is not the owner. All right, this scam kind of works like this, and it's similar to the first scam on the classified sites, but pretty much it works like this. The seller wants to sell you a house, but they don't want to use a closing agent. They don't want to use a title company. And back in the pre-foreclosure days when there was a lot of people door knocking for foreclosures, it was a pretty common practice to do what we call a tabletop closing. That means you sit down with the seller, you work out a deal to buy their house, you call a mobile notary, they show up at the house, you have the seller sign a contract, you have the seller sign a quit claim or a special warranty deed, they claim the house over to you, which gives you control of the property. You either leave the mortgage in place, or if they don't have a mortgage, you now control the real estate. You stop the foreclosure by paying all the back payments, and you officially own the property, and you never went to title, and you did it right there at the kitchen table. That was common practice. So the challenge with that is if somebody random comes along and says, you know what, I don't want to use a title company, nowadays that's kind of weird. But if the scammer is pretending to be the owner and they want to quit claim you the house or special warranty deed you the house and not go through a closing agent, then red flags need to go up. Because what's probably happening is they're going to try and either get an earnest deposit out of you or get you to write them a big check to buy the property when they don't technically even have the rights to sell it. So if you find yourself in this situation, guess what? You're probably getting scammed. What ends up happening is you end up with a worthless deed to the property because the seller was not the legal owner of record. So how do you avoid this? Same thing, right? Trust but verify. Always go through a third-party closing agent. Always get title insurance on every property that you buy. Make sure that the person that you're talking to is the owner of record, right? You can always check tax records to make sure the person you're talking to, check their ID, check it against tax records. Or ask your closing agent to verify for you, and always make sure that any payments that you give to the potential seller is paid through a third-party closing agent so that way they can distribute the funds once the deal closes. All right, I actually had this happen to me one time. A guy came to me, wanted to sell me a property. He forged, had a fake ID. He forged documentation that he owns the property. It was, I think his example was his uncle passed away and quit claim deed the house over to him, and now he just wants to unload it, and he wanted to quit claim it over to me. He didn't want to use a closing agent. He was trying to get me to put up a $3,000 non-refundable earnest deposit, and thankfully I was able to kind of identify what was going on. I started getting my spidey senses going, and I was like, no, I want to use a closing agent on this. And guess what? The guy disappeared, never heard from him again. So he was obviously a scammer. So now you know you can avoid that one. All right, scam number 4. This is the Co Wholesale Scam. And this one works like this. Another wholesaler offers a deal that is super duper hot. I mean, they are just offering it at a ridiculous low price. You know that you got buyers for it, but they've got another interested buyer that they're meeting with later on in the day. But if you want the deal, which you know is a slam dunk deal at that price, you just have to put down a $2,500 non-refundable earnest deposit and the deal is yours, right? So you say, great, I'll take the deal. The wholesaler agrees to sell it to you. They ask for cash, right? They want their non-refundable earnest deposit in the form of cash. You agree because the deal is so good, you know you're gonna make a ton of money on the back end, and before you know it, boom, you've just been scammed. And you lost your non-refundable earnest deposit. That other wholesaler, they didn't actually even have the deal under contract. They never had any right to market the deal. They just heard about the deal from another wholesaler, dropped the price, got it in front of you, scammed you out of your non-refundable earnest deposit, and now, you know, good luck trying to find them and get your money back. So how do you protect yourself? Again, always make your checks payable to the closing agent or to your title company and never pay for anything in cash. All right, what do you guys think so far? Have you ever heard of any of these? Have you ever come across any of these scenarios? Are you smarter, wiser, and more clever now that you've heard of these? We got one more. Let's keep going. Too good to be true, deal funding. Now, this scam works like this. You're approached by a private money lender or a hard money lender on a social media site like Facebook or Instagram, and they're just offering you the most insane attractive rates. They're saying, you know, we'll fund 100% of the acquisition, we'll fund 100% of the rehab, we'll do it at a 9% interest rate or an 8% interest rate. The only thing that you have to do in order to get funding is you have to, you know, fill out this application and you have to pre-qualify your deal. So next time you get a deal, you just got to fill out, you know, this form and make sure that we will fund your deal. So you're thinking to yourself, this is great. I have a lender all lined up. They got attractive, you know, financing options. This is perfect. So you go out and you do what I'm teaching you to do. You go find a good deal at a great price. You go back to the lender, you submit your deal, you fill out this, you know, application that has all this personal information on it. They say, yes, we'll fund the deal. You're thinking, perfect. And they say, before we can fund the deal, we have to do something first. We have to get an appraisal on the property, which is a $300 or $500 appraisal fee, which you got to pay for. So if you can pay us that money, we will get the appraisal done. And also we have a like an application fee or a loan processing fee, and that's $1,000. So in order for us to move forward, we're going to need $1,300 or $1,500 from you. You're thinking, okay, it's not too bad. So you fork over the cash. Next thing you know, they're not responding to you any longer. And you're going, what's up with my funding? I got this deal. I'm supposed to close on Friday. Now I can't get a hold of the lender. What gives? Well, congratulations, you've been scammed. The lender is either scamming you out of the appraisal and processing fee, or worse, they're getting the appraisal money, they're getting the loan processing money, and they took out all that private information that you filled out on the loan application, which could be your name, your date of birth, maybe even your social security number, and now they've stolen your identity. All right, this is one of the most unscrupulous scams that are out there.
Unscrupulous, thoroughly unscrupulous.
So I'm telling you right now, be very, very careful. Same thing goes with this as all the other scams we talked about. Trust but verify. Google them, verify their email, verify their phone number. If you can get a referral or a couple referrals from them, you know, call the referrals, make sure that you can talk to other people that they worked with in the past. And sometimes what they do is the scammers pretend to work for a reputable company. I would call the company and verify that this person works there. All right. So what do you guys think? Now you know the top 5 real estate scams to look out for. You kind of can identify how to avoid them. And hopefully because of this conversation and you took the time watching this video, you're a smarter, sexier, better looking, clever investor than ever before. And you don't fall for this stuff. It's not always as apparent as like a Nigerian prince. You won $50 million scam, just send me $2,000 and I'll send you back your $50 million. Sometimes it's as unapparent as, you know, you want to get a good loan, send us $300 for an appraisal fee. But now that you know to trust but verify, you can avoid these scams and not be taken advantage of, and you can move forward with confidence. And that's really what I want for you. All right, I don't have anything else in this video. If you got some value from this conversation, please like it, share it with a friend so we can all learn, earn, and grow together. And until next time, I'm Cody Sperber, the Clever Investor, signing off for now. Take care, comb your hair, Sperber out. Hey, listen, while you're here, why don't you click the tab in the upper right-hand corner and grab my new book, How to Flip Houses with Little to No Money Down. It's a step-by-step guide on how I got wealthy in real estate and how you can too. Hope it helps. Oh, don't forget to watch the 2 videos also.